All right, my fellow friends and traders. Um, so this is the first in a new series about education. This first one is all going to be about key levels, understanding what resistance and support lines look like, and where to position them, where to place them. I think ultimately it's always going to be slightly subjective because each person will see things slightly differently. But I guess as an individual, your job is to understand where those key levels reside, because oftentimes you will, whether you are a technical analysis trader called TA, or whether you are a fundamentals trader, or even maybe a bit of both, you want to know where the market reacts to certain levels, and so that's what today's session is going to be about. Don't anticipate them being too long, relatively short, and we're going to cover a lot more in the coming upcoming months and weeks and days and whatever else. So let's get to it. So key levels. So let's start with, right now we're on the monthly time zone. We're using BTC as the instrument of choice. And what I like to try and do is look at major lines of resistance and support, and then more like the minor, so kind of more intraday or inter time frame resistance lines and support lines. So let's just get started. So all you need to do at this stage is just train your eye to see where you think levels reside, and I'm just going to start off with kind of a main one, and it's right here. You can clearly see that this area is quite an interesting point. Why? Because, well, over in 2018 we had the all-time high, kind of around the 2021 area. We can see here, we touched it on this monthly candle, and then we came back here, and kind of you can see where the body of both candles are touching, and then also these 3 months here, the body of the candles just finished in this zone, in this area, and then we can see we've got some consolidation, and that's really what you're looking for, is where does price action get traded mostly, and it's normally around key levels. So right now this is neither support or resistance, it's actually both, depending on whether you are above the key level, it will act as support, and if you are below the key level, it will act as resistance. So let's draw some more. I think this is a key level. Reason being, we've got touch the candle here, touch of the candle here, touch from the candle here, body close just below here, body close just below here. Again, when you're looking at such a zoomed out macro view, when we zoom in a little bit later on, we'll see that actually we can refine those points. We're just kind of getting a sight on where we are at this moment in time. Now, where else would we suggest the key level could be? Well, maybe here. What you're always looking for with these things is most touch points. And as I look here, let's just go there. Body of the candles touching. We have wick here, wick here, wick here, and obviously we wicked across here. Let's see, let's continue. We can see here's quite an interesting zone of support and resistance. So we have touches here, obviously body candles just below. We wick here, we wick here. 2 body candles both below and above. So these are what I would all class as major levels, and since its inception way back here, have been respected. And this is a total, these are monthly candles. Don't forget, so it's not, it's not like smaller time frames. And then let's maybe look at some ascending and descending patterns that we can look at as well. So let's go with a different color actually. Let's go with, I don't know, orange. Oh, no, we don't want to go orange yet. Let's make that pink. All right, now next one, so we're going to go and use our trend line. We're just going to kind of eyeball this moment in time. And again, we'll be refining this. Yeah, feels like a good spot. It's interesting. There's actually a couple here because this one. Let me just escape this. We could in theory say, yeah, okay. So the trend line has been broken in the sense that we've gone, kind of it's broken out of its pattern here, and then it's that one, and then we could say maybe. Okay, we've broken out of here. I don't like them at all. I think we may need to zoom in a little bit just to get a better take on where they would lie. You're looking at line of best fit, really. That's probably better. So let me just go to the wick here. And then go to the wick here. I'll just go longer. That's probably better. And you're already seeing, a number of wedges being formed. I think we've already wicked on this. We'll just check that out actually. Yeah, we've wicked on this and obviously got rejected. We are going to zoom in a second. I just want to kind of finish off where we are here. These are all the major ones, yeah. So when we zoom in a second, we'll start to give some further contextualization to these, and maybe draw some further minor ones. I'd probably suggest this is also quite a major line, so let's just change that. Really what we tend to do is use zones rather than just lines, because realistically you could draw, just as an example, you could almost suggest that this is a zone, yeah, but I just want to focus purely on lines, so support line and resistance line, but ultimately it's so subjective that actually it's probably more beneficial to use. It's more beneficial to go with zones or zones of areas of interest rather than just the line. So this is just to kind of get you started. Now you can always you can go too mad. I mean, right now already it's looking like some sort of kids' school book or something with all kinds of lines, and it's not really too easy on the eye. However, what we are going to start to do is maybe come in and start to see some other time frame. So that's the monthly. So let's see what we look like now when we go onto the weekly. So we're just going to refine now a little bit. And you can see, we have broken out of that line, or that downward wedge. So this is why, ultimately from a breakout perspective, at some point we probably will expect fireworks. If we extend this down further to this line here, we're still operating within that wedge. But now what you start to see is other potential areas of kind of support and resistance building up here. Potentially you could look here as more of a minor rather than a major. But what the reason you do this at such a macro blown out level is because if these lines are true on the macro, so on the monthlies, we know these are pretty significant lines of either support or resistance. And as I say, really what you're looking for on your weeklies, dailies, 4 hours, so on and so forth, is to refine, where those points are. So everything's still looking okay. I'm just looking through here. Maybe we could up that a touch, or maybe even down, a tad. And this is why, maybe you would. I mean, that feels a little bit more truer to where it would be, just because of the amount of touches we get. In these areas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty much all of these are either just touching or leaving from, depending on what sides of that area it is. Okay, let's go down to the daily. Just zoom out. Break this in a little bit. And I guess here is where you maybe start to think about creating some better wedges or some better patterns. Maybe it's a flag pattern, or maybe it is here's a classic example. If I just say, okay, well, maybe we want to look at this as a flag pattern. Sorry. And whenever you get these patterns, what you normally see is a breakout to the downside and a measured move to judge roughly where your breakout is. So, if we take this measured move here, I know I'm kind of going slightly off a tangent, but it was pretty spot on in terms of its distance. Anyway, we're not here to talk about things like these. I just want to kind of make some, just while it's kind of here, we will cover these things as well. But just now we're just focusing purely on lines of support and resistance. So what are we expecting? Just as an example, where we are. So right now we're breaking outside of a pattern, aren't we? So we're breaking out. We've already broken outside of this descending support line, or resistance line rather. I think now you want to draw, if you're looking for things like where to get in as a price entry, maybe what you want to start to do now is do some minor lines. So right now you're looking here, seems like a comfortable spot. Maybe we can push that up a bit more. But I like to get as many touches from the candles as possible. Yeah, we'll colour the minor in a slightly different colour, and we'll also change. Let's see. Let's change these to a. Let's change them to a blue. Okay. Let's change them the size. Sorry, to also to blue. Oh, what colour blue is it? Maybe it was this one. We change the size to kind of the smaller lines. Okay. So we've got some miners being built. There's another miner here. So let's do that again. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Kind of feels like a good spot. We've already got a major there, that's fine, so I think that's okay there. Alright. So now, of course, the next obvious question would be, how does, if this candle continues, how does this get respected? Do we wick it? Do we close above it? Does the body candle close be above it? Does the next candle after that body close candle open to the upside? Does it come back down and retest this before going eventually back to the upside? So really, what your support and resistance lines are there to do is to kind of give you as a trader just a sense on, just a pure visual on what the market's doing at any one point, and then using where you think the support and resistance lines are to gauge how the market anticipates and reacts and respects those lines that you've drawn. Now, obviously, you're not just going to trade purely upon support and resistance. It'd be crazy to do that, although it is a strategy people deploy. There's better ways to look at better entry levels and things like that, which again we're going to cover in this series. But just purely taking an eyeball at where you want to where your natural eye is looking at things of respect. Where's the price bouncing off? Where is it going through? Where's it bouncing from? All of these things are really here to just, once you start zooming into the smaller time frames, you don't want to still have to zoom out every 2 seconds and go, right, you want to kind of get your major and your minor levels of support and resistance in, so that when you are kind of on the smaller time frames, you can start to really see, okay, this is a major support line. How is the market going to react to this? And that's kind of what you're looking to do. Let's jump into the 4 hour. And again, what we're looking to do is just keep refining the lines of support and resistance. I'm looking at here, is this a good line of support and resistance? Can we actually get more touch points? We've got 2 here, we've got 2 here, 2 here, got some here, got some here. We've just got wicks here, so that's looking pretty good. Got one here, we've got a wick here. Yeah, failed breakout and back to the downside. This feels like a good spot. Doesn't feel too out. So that's a good area, I think. Looking at our, just zoom in a little bit. Looking at our minor resistance and support. Again, it kind of looks okay. Got a double candle here. We've got the same here. Yeah, wicked a couple of times here. We've got some nice consolidation around it here. And again, what you've always got to think in your mind is, support and resistance are built up over time. And the more touch points you have at these support and resistance lines, whether it's a major or a minor, the better respected it's been over time. and that's really what you're looking to see. You know, if you're just starting to see all-time highs and stuff like that, well, it's difficult to gauge, you know, what they are. So you can't really just take them as it were. So, you know, I think we could probably improve on this one. So if I was thinking about where this would go, maybe because, you know, with better insight, I'm thinking here. Why? Because look, we've got candle body close, candle body closed, wick, wick, wick here, wick there. We're just missed on the wick here, and we're not too far from where this split. So that's just a slight improvement on that. I think maybe this could come down a tiny bit. So I'm just looking. We still want to try to maintain the wicks, but I'm maybe thinking if I just move that a second, I think maybe here is just slightly better because we just hit all of these candle body closes. We hit a few wicks here, get a better sense on the wicks there. Again, similar candle body close here, a couple of wicks, and then we wick these 4, 5, and then these 2 candle bodies here. So as I say, this practice is just to refine, you know, your support and resistance lines. Okay, let's just zoom out a little second. In fact, let me just try to kind of move over here. Let me see how close we are to. Maybe just bring it down speed. Yeah, so we've got 2 wicks here, a couple of wicks there. So that feels right. That feels good to me. But quite naturally, I'm also seeing another potential where I'd probably look at going to this top here. Sorry, let me just hit that again. So this is another descending wedge, or just descending line of support or resistance. And again, you can get too lost in these kind of things and too messy. But this is more. I'd probably class this as more of a minor. So we'll change. What are we saying the minors are? Let's say a lighter yellow. Okay, or virtually white. Maybe we'll go that one. Okay, and then we want that to be just a single line. Okay. So, you know, touch point, just miss a touch point here. We touch here, we nearly touch it here, and what I'm looking for is how does that affect where the price action is right now, i.e., have we got room to move up? Yeah, we have slightly. Let's zoom in again there. So again, you know, you're looking at ways to see, well, where can we get price rejection? Well, it's rejected it here. We could see it come back up and test it again, or may even break out and try and test this minor level here that we've drawn. So this is why we do it. Should we go into a shorter time frame? Let's go into the hour. Let's see if we can tidy it up even more. All right. So now, obviously, as you start to break down your resistance lines and support lines, you're looking again at the amount of touch points. So again, consolidation, nice consolidation here, nice consolidation here. Obviously, this is where we went through, and at the failed breakout. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. What about this one down here? I think this is picking up the 17.5k, yeah, 17,500k, 17,500 mark. I probably want to just leave that where it was actually. All right. This is where our major descending support / resistance is. We've already broke through it. We've come down to retest, and this is really where, as a trader, you start to get a feel for these things. So what you're looking for, is it a failed breakout move, or is it a legitimate move to the upside? Well, what you're always looking to see is, if a breakout occurs, that number one, you've got volume. You want to see volume in any big move. Number two, if we break out of a key level of support or resistance, does that breakout come back and retest? Well, let's see. We broke out of the descending support or resistance line, however we want to perceive it. We broke out of a major, which was resistance. It's now support. Well, does resistance now act as support? That's the key thing, I guess. So we've came out. We've tagged the minor descending resistance line. We've hit it. We've come back down. We've tested the major. We've kind of lollygagged around it a little bit, and we've come back out of it, which is good. That's what you want to see. If you're bullish in this move, then that's what you want to see as a bullish move. Now it's a case of saying, okay, well, do we then get past the minor resistance line here, or do we come back down and test this area again? Theoretically, you're thinking, well, this could be another good potential move to get into a buy zone. So if you're thinking, okay, well, where do I put my buy and stop? Sorry, me buy and sell orders. Well, this area has been respected at least 4 times for this major zone. So realistically, you're thinking, okay, well, I'll wait until it comes down here, and I'll put a buy entry. I'll maybe put a stop, maybe just below the descending wedge, because that's, you'd expect that or you'd want to see that gets respected, and then hope that you get, a move to the upside, and maybe even test the minor resistance here. And that's really what support and resistance is all about. It's about trying to figure out these lines, looking at good entry levels, and then potential areas of take profit. So that's it. Support and resistance, purely subjective. It's all about the trained eye. It's all about what you're looking for in terms of being able to identify patterns. Don't let anyone tell you there's anything different. No one has the right or the wrong way. It's just your perception of where you're seeing these activities happen. So, have a play, do what test these things out, let it run for a few hours, see how it reacts to where you put your lines, and if you need to change it slightly, no biggie, just change it. And you're looking for the accuracy of where these need to lie. So, this is our first one. We will be picking up the pace a little bit and bringing more concepts to this. So, you don't just want to use support and resistance. You then want to use ways to factor things like whether you're overbought, whether you're oversold. These are other indicators that allow you to zone in on better entry levels. You also want to look at what the moving averages are. So if you get a big breakout, are we going to respond and revert back to the mean? So we're going to cover a lot of all of these kind of things in the next videos. The other thing I want to cover in more detail, and I don't know if I want it to actually be a separate playlist in itself, is Bookmap. Bookmap's a really, really, really powerful tool in understanding order flow and liquidity levels, which is live always. So you're seeing where are people putting limit orders, how are the market orders going in, how are the levels being respected. A lot of that kind of stuff is you won't see in this platform, unfortunately, but we will bring you kind of along on that journey, and we'll make sure we review we'll review Bookmap. So that's all I've got for you right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you guys soon.